Mike here, and thanks for stopping in. So in today's video, I am going to be installing new mirror covers on my 2017 Cadillac CTS-V 3. The mirror covers I got from Weapon-X Motorsports and their carbon fiber, so I'll be replacing the standard paint with this. Now, I already did the right side, and I'm hoping that the left side is somewhat similar, but I did do a lot of things that I learned on the right side that hopefully I can share with you and make your installation easier. So let's get started. So a couple tools here that you might need before we get started here. Blue painter's tape helps. I'm going to cover the mirror with this so I don't get dirty fingerprints or even accidentally scratch it, so that's kind of important. Another thing too is that the mirror itself kind of just pops on, and it's got these tabs in it. It's in a circular fashion, and the tabs really lock into it, but you still have to kind of get in there somehow. I mean, it's best if you could use your hands, but your hands may not be that small, or you might tilt it too far. So I have these body trim kit tools that I'm using here, variety kind of price, to try and pop that up. And then the last thing too is that underneath the bezel, all the plastic parts and so on are held on by Torx, T-O-R-X screws, and they're real small, and they're T9s. So a T9 isn't found typically in a tool set that you would get. And I had one of these cheapo ones here when I did the right one, just these 1/4-inch bits that had the right size in it. But these, this particular tool isn't that really good quality. One thing that I found is that because they're so small and they're not that deep, it really helps to have your tool that's really, really sharp and cut well. So with this particular family of bits here, the tips were kind of rounded, and so I was slipping out of it, and I actually kind of wrecked one of them because I just thought, oh, I'll just push harder and try to get it off. Well, that's a tough lesson learned. Thankfully, I was able to save it. And I know another lucky thing is that there's a Lowe's right near my house, so when you get into T9, that gets into precision screwdriver type territory. So like I said, it's not found in normal kits, but thankfully they had this little kit here that had included a T9, and when you do it, it's got enough bits in here that when you pull it off, again, these slip in real nicely. And it's long enough too. You've got to be long enough that you got to get in there and able to put torque. So the other thing too is that those threads are in there, and they're basically cut threads that go into the plastic part, and they're cutting it. So you have to apply a lot of torque on it as well. So again, hopefully this will help you avoid some problems, or at least gather the tools that you need. So let's get into the install. So that was kind of easy. So the mirror just popped right out. I use this tool to just kind of give it a quick clip. So there are a couple wires in here. One's just a simple connector. This is for the lane detect. And then there's two other wires here. One is for the heater, I think. They look to be the same, and I don't think it matters whether or not you get them reversed. But the one with the white stripe is for the top. Now there's one more connector here because this is the driver's side. Unclip. So now the mirror is free. So here we are. You have a look inside of the unit with the mirror pulled out. You can see that there's the Torx screws here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And there's one in behind here as well. That'll attach to the turn signal here, but we'll get rid of the bezel first by undoing these 4. And like I said, a real sharp T9 tool is important because, again, you got to kind of get in there, and again, these are cutting into plastic, so they're torqued on there pretty good. So it's good to have a screwdriver with that you can grab a hold of and give nice, easy, even torque on, so you're not stressing anything. All right, so those 4 are off, and off comes the bezel. Now the next thing we're going to remove is this one Torx screw right here, and that'll let go of the top part. Now you can see that the cover is already pretty loose, and I'll just do this one more here. Alright, so a little finagling there, and off comes the cover. Now this one here again is for the turn signal, so just to keep it all intact, I will pull this connector here. All right, so I have the cover on the bench here, and it still has the turn signal intact. So what I'll do is, again with the T9 screw here, I'll just let this go, and this will make way to take off that chrome trim. Now the chrome trim is an interesting piece because in the GM catalog it doesn't show a part number for it, so I don't know if replacements are available. Now the top cover GM replacements are available. It says paint to match, so I don't think you can order them pre-painted to the color that you need, so you will have to paint them, but at least it's available. Now the reason why I'm saying all that is because with this again, the turn signal just kind of pops away there. But one thing you'll notice here is that this chrome trim that lives on the bottom of the edge here, that's the part that's not available. So it's not showing a part number in GM, but the top cover is. The reason why I say that is because in my last one, when I did the right side, there's these two tabs here, and they are pretty tight, and they're plastic, so they're brittle, and they don't flex that much. So you can kind of see how they're oriented in there. They are oriented in such a way that they're kind of opposing to each other. All right, I did it. So it looks like the trick was sort of to do it this way on the smaller one first. Hopefully you'll get enough leverage that you'll get this out, but that's what it took. So here is the Weapon-X carbon fiber piece. You know, I do have to say that the carbon fiber on here is really nice. I think there's huge debate over Weapon-X carbon fiber. I don't want to cause more debate, but in my opinion, I think the way the weave is put together, these are true carbon fiber parts. You can see they go right through. They're not plastic recovered. They're actually lighter. They feel lighter than the original. And you know, on the passenger side, when I was trying to get this trim on, the tabs were not quite right, and I had to do a couple of things. Well, one, I broke off the tab. This one right here just sheared right off as I tried to snap the new part in. But also when I got it seated, the way it sits in this direction, I had to file down a little bit to remove some material so it sat properly. I just did a test fit on this one with the original chrome trim, and lo and behold, I'll snap the bigger end in first. It's a little snug, but the tabs line up and they snap in perfectly. And not only that, the chrome trim seems to line up pretty close to where it needs to be. Again, it's not entirely perfect, but you know, in my experience, the way aftermarket parts are, especially carbon fiber, this isn't too bad. So this looks to me, knock on wood, that it's going to go pretty straightforward when I go to put it back in the car. One thing I was going to suggest is to take the screws that you're going to put in and chase them and maybe cut new threads. That way you're not fighting with the cover on the car. So back we go. So turn signal connection goes back in. That's this guy right here. And again, it has the wire itself has a home where it lives. Alright, and so the cover has a home, you'll see, and it should fall right in. And again, with that spade right here, that lines up, and it looks like it connects up pretty good. So what I'll do is I'll put that one screw in, right tucked up in here, hard to see, but I'll put that in, and that'll hold the cover on, and that'll be enough for that one. One thing that I missed was that this lower one actually has to capture the bezel as well, so at least I got them lined up. Alright, so next up is the bezel. Now all the screws are tightened, and all I need to do is put the mirror on. But I think I'm going to hold off, as I think I might want to play with there's a kind of a big gap here, but I'm not sure how I want to finish it, if I need to file fit or maybe I'll just live with it. Alright, so I did some messing around with it, and the way I see it, you can see this gap right in here. It's pretty consistent and straight throughout the whole thing, and you know, the passenger side was the same. I had taken it all apart, and one thing you'll notice is that right about here, it looks that where there's almost not enough material. Now, I think I got to decide what I want to do. Maybe if this continues to bother me, I'll take it off and remove some material here so that it sits better inward. But you know, the line over here on the outside really lines up well with the lower, and that leads me to think that maybe this is partly either a variance or maybe it was by design to keep this gap here. I don't know. Like I said, I think if I get ambitious enough, maybe I'll remove some of this lip material here and see if it'll tuck in deeper this way and make it work. But for now, I think I'm just going to enjoy the way it looks and maybe just live with it. But again, the carbon fiber material itself is fantastic, and without scrutinizing this little detail here, I love the look of it. So I got all the wiring back in its place and its home, and now I am going to snap the mirror back in place. And I wanted to show you how easy it was to do. So really, it's got these tabs that wrap around that actuator motor, the circular part. So it really has only one home, and let's hope I get it right. There we go, snap back on. So the job is done, and I think, you know, hopefully this video was somewhat helpful. You know, one of the things that when I decided to tackle this job, the one thing that confused me was getting that mirror out. Once I was able to figure out what that is, thanks to that Rennick Performance video that showed the ATS-V, that helped show that it was really just a pop-out thing. And there's also that AllData DIY manual that has some tips in it too, but really it tells you that to put a suitable tool in there and pry upward, which really it wasn't wrong. It just if you've never done it before, it might be a little confusing on the details. So at least, you know, seeing my hack method, you know, I admit I'm not a professional mechanic. I'm just a hobby guy. I do this for fun, but it was a job that I was able to tackle. You know, about the Weapon-X carbon fiber, it is really nice, like the way it looks and the way it feels and the way the weave is laid out. Really good quality. The only thing that I'm concerned about, and again, it was consistent with the passenger side as well, is this little gap that they have here. So I don't know, again, I think it's partly by design. Maybe that was the intent, was to do it, or maybe there's a variance in the plug somewhere where it's just a little bit too much material. So I'm going to live with it for a while and just enjoy the look of it. And if it bothers me that much, I'll get down on a weekend and just really trying to file fit and make that work properly. But overall, I'm happy with it. You know, again, it changes the look of it. You know, GM never came with carbon fiber mirror covers, so, and I didn't want to do wrap because you can always kind of tell the way wraps are. Although, now that I have those covers off, maybe I will try and wrap and do it kind of nice and cleanly and see if I can get away with that if this, again, if this fit bothers me that much. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to ask me any questions or put any comments in there. You know, these are one of my first YouTube videos, and I want to try and do more. Just to try and help out others, and you know, by seeing a video often helped me a lot, so I want to kind of give back and be able to do that too. So I don't know how ambitious I'm going to get with the projects with this car. The V3 needs absolutely nothing. I had a V2 where I did the supercharger and the heat exchanger and all that. It made 600 horsepower on the dyno, and that was a lot of fun. But you know, I don't really race the car. I do just like having it and turning wrenches, and you know, the cosmetic stuff really changes the look, and it's just kind of a fun, easy thing to do. So again, thanks for watching the video. Feel free to put any comments, questions, all that kind of stuff down below, and I'll get to them when I can. Take care, and we'll see you.